What if the reason a person reappears in your world after radio silence has nothing to do with destiny and everything to do with a silent alarm you triggered inside their mind? Welcome to Psych Seeker. That unsettling feeling you get when they finally text back isn't hope. It's a signal of a psychological game you didn't even know you were playing. Before we uncover the true mechanics at work, if you value understanding human behavior over comforting lies, make sure you subscribe. Hitting that like button tells the algorithm you're ready for the unfiltered truth. I want you to understand something critical. When someone cuts you off, goes silent, your heart assumes it's over, but their brain registers it as a sudden stop. The human psyche despises emotional loose ends. What happens next inside their head is not missing you. It's a system error. Their sense of predictability, the quiet power they held in knowing your emotional state, vanishes. And in that vacuum, something dangerous awakens. Uncertainty. Their control was an illusion, propped up by your consistent presence. Your absence doesn't bring them peace. It brings a nagging question. Did my influence expire? Silence isn't empty. It's full of echoes. And their mind starts filling the quiet with projections, with doubts, with a need to resolve the tension. This isn't love stirring. This is the ego's stability being questioned. The return, then, is a pressure release valve. That casual, "Hey stranger," that random like on an old photo, the flimsy excuse for a call, these aren't bridges. They are probes. They are checking the perimeter of your emotional world to see if the gates are still unlocked. And here is the brutal pivot point most people miss entirely. If you respond with the same open warmth, the same eager forgiveness, you hand them the antidote to their anxiety. You close the very gap that pulled them back. The tension dissolves, and with it, their compelling reason to stay. Understanding the why behind their return isn't about cynicism, it's about clarity. It's about seeing the invisible wires, so you're no longer a puppet reacting to every tug. Let me break down the mental stages they go through during your silence. Phase 1 is relief, freedom. Then a subtle shift occurs. They stop receiving your emotional feedback. No validation, no reactions, no reflection of their own worth. This creates a silent crisis for the ego. We all subconsciously measure our value through the impact we have on others. When that mirror goes blank, unease creeps in. It doesn't feel like longing. It feels like restless irritation, a sudden, compulsive need to know what you're doing, who might be occupying your attention. This isn't affection. It's a relevance check, and your absence makes their brain amplify every unfinished moment between you. Not because those memories were perfect, but because they are open circuits in their mind, begging for closure. The silence you hold charges those circuits with energy, so they reach out. But please, see this for what it is, a diagnostic test. They are measuring the emotional climate, your response time, your tone, your level of investment. It's all data. If you react with instant relief or emotional spillage, you confirm their deepest unspoken hope, that their access to you remains responsibility-free. Access without cost is the death of respect. This is the cruel loop. People circle back and vanish again, not because you lack value, but because you unknowingly gave away the psychological leverage too fast. You soothed the itch that compelled their return. Here's the truth. Most channels won't state plainly. A return only holds weight if the person returning has undergone an internal shift, not a momentary whim, but a structural change in how they approach connection. If they come back with the same vagueness, the same lack of direction, they aren't choosing you. They are self-medicating. Your strength as a man isn't in playing cold or hard to get, it's in governing emotional access. You don't punish. You observe. You let their consistent actions translate the poetry of their empty words. The core reason someone walks back after ignoring you is starkly simple. They seek relief from the internal pressure your silence manufactured. Whether that return becomes anything more is a decision that lands squarely in your hands, based on your next move. Most men feel a chemical surge when that notification appears. Dopamine, a hit of adrenaline. Your brain interprets this as victory, as validation. It is not. It is a biological trap. That euphoria is your own unresolved tension seeking release. It makes you want to chase, to secure, to finally have the answer. And that chase is precisely the power transfer they are testing for. The men who escape this cycle understand a key principle. Absence applies pressure, pressure forces evaluation, and that evaluation is what drives the return. It's a mental algorithm, not a romantic one. Your role is not to feed the algorithm with validation. Your control lives in your response. This is the failure point. They see the return, their pride ignites, and they rush to say, "I knew you'd come back," or "I missed you." Every eager word acts like a pressure release valve for them. The intrigue flatlines. Your emotional composure is your greatest asset. A calm, clear, unattached response reverses the current. They feel the gap they thought they closed begin to widen again. Now, their mind has to work. Suddenly, you are not the reactor. You become the evaluator. And in the dynamics of human attraction, the one being evaluated is the one who holds desirability. This is the first layer. Their return is not about you. It's about the silent disturbance your absence caused in their psychological ecosystem. Let's go deeper, because this is where the real misunderstanding lives. The person who faded out doesn't reappear from nostalgia or guilt. They come back because of a state called cognitive dissonance, the mental friction between what they did and what they now feel. Your disappearance created an open loop. The brain obsesses over incomplete tasks, and emotional exchanges are tasks of the highest order. Every unanswered text, every unresolved conversation becomes a mental itch. Their return is an attempt to scratch it. Returns are often just the mind-seeking and emotional off-ramp. Their initial contact is a risk assessment. It's casual by design. "How are you?" is not a question. It's a sonar ping. They are mapping your emotional depth, checking for resistance, gauging if they can dip back into your waters without facing any consequence. Here is the catastrophic misstep, mistaking this reconnaissance for romance. Feeling flattered, you respond with full enthusiasm, with explanations, with open arms. You remove the very friction that made you intriguing. You think you're reconnecting. You're just turning off the magnetic pull. True leverage is invisible. When you master it, you stop being a reactive participant and become a selective gatekeeper. Your presence, your unwavering calm, your refusal to over-explain, these become sources of powerful intrigue. People return not because they had an epiphany about your worth. They return because your absence disrupted their internal narrative, and now they must confront the quiet chaos they left behind. The hard truth is this mishandling creates a cycle. They return, you react, the tension dies, they drift. It's a loop of emotional whiplash. Knowing this pattern isn't just insight, it's armor. Now let's get uncomfortably precise, because this is where intentions are truly revealed. A return after silence often comes with subtle, sometimes unconscious, manipulation. They are subconsciously auditing your boundaries. They want to see if you're the same person who would fill their silence with your own noise, who would chase, who would make excuses for them. Your every reaction is a data point. What makes this perilous is your own biological response. The relief and excitement flood your system with chemicals that feel like attachment. You're essentially rewarding a behavior that was never about building something solid with you. The differentiator between those who stay in control and those who get played is patience, emotional discipline. Seeing the return not as a gift, but as a live audit of your self-worth. When you don't react on their timeline, you force their motives into the light. They have to exert effort to regain your attention. And in psychology, the party controlling access holds the influence. Another vital point, your value is magnified in absence, not because they've magically appreciated you, but because scarcity creates desire. What is readily available becomes background noise. What is just out of reach becomes a focused thought. Their return is proof that the scarcity you inadvertently created has been registered. Notice is the first step toward genuine reevaluation. Finally, internalize this. Not every return deserves a red carpet. Some come back only to quiet their own disquiet. Others return ready to build. Your job isn't to decipher their poetry. It's to study their prose, their actions, their consistency, their respect for the boundaries you uphold. When you operate from this principle, you cease to be a casualty of their patterns. You start authoring your own emotional story. The individual who ignored you reappears for one dominant reason. They are seeking to resolve a psychic tension. Your response dictates whether that becomes a fleeting relief, a repetitive trap, or a foundation for something real. Your power is in that understanding and in the deliberate action that follows. Here's the part most refuse to hear. Their motives are rarely pristine. They aren't returning having seen the light. They are returning because you created a vacuum. And the human mind is wired to seek equilibrium, even if the effort is temporary or self-serving. Grasping this stops you from misreading the map and losing your way. Think of it like this. The brain loves patterns. When you vanish from their expected script, you break the pattern. Their psyche experiences a low-grade alarm. They need to check if the script is still on the shelf, waiting for them. This isn't love. It's the ego's immune response. And the fatal error is conflating validation with genuine desire. The moment they reappear, your instinct shouts, "Seal the deal! Reassure! Connect!" You rush in, over-communicate, offer absolution you don't owe. Each reaction confirms a silent hierarchy. They hold sway. You respond. The dynamic resets. True leverage is born from watchfulness, from patience, from self-command. Let them arrive, let them speak, let them test, but do not reward indecision. Do not seal the gap they work to bridge. Another crucial insight: people don't revisit places they perceive as having zero value. If they re-enter your orbit, their subconscious has run a cost-benefit analysis. Your calm independence, your anchored life, they sense it. This is where real influence resides, in demonstrating you are neither desperate nor predictable. The return is a reflection. It shows not their devotion, but your residual impact. Impact is not obligation. It is choice. When you see this, you stop dancing to the tune of their silence or their surprise reappearance. You see the machinery, you recognize the play, and you take command over whether this re-engagement becomes a footnote, a cycle, or a legitimate new chapter. At its essence, their return is a boundary assay, a recalibration of emotional gravity, and a sign that the disturbance you created registered. Your response will define everything that follows. Your authority lies in perception, patience, and poised presence. Everything else is noise. Now, the final, unfiltered reality. This is where men break free from the cycle of hope and letdown. The reason a person comes back after ignoring you is singular: unresolved psychic tension. They are not returning from love, remorse, or revelation. They are returning because your absence carved a cavity in their mental landscape that demands filling, and you hold the only material that fits. Every random interaction is a symptom, not a statement. Their subconscious is calculating, is the door still on the latch? Can I still sway their emotions? Do I still matter here? And let's be clear, to matter is to hold a form of power. You are now in the rare position to determine if their return is a temporary comfort station or a meaningful junction. That position is potent, and it belongs to you. What separates the trapped from the clear-eyed is awareness and command. Awareness of the psychological playbook and command over your own reactions. Respond with hungry urgency, and you collapse the tension, killing the moment. Respond with measured clarity and firm boundaries, and you let the tension guide them toward revealing their authentic intent. This is also where most misunderstand detachment. Detachment isn't ignorance. It's maintaining your world, your standards, your inner stability, while you clinically observe the pattern of their return. You are no longer a passive player. You are actively assessing if they bring the congruence, the respect, the alignment you require. If not, their return ends as it began, without costing you a shred of your peace. The ultimate lesson is harsh but empowering. People circle back because their mind requires it, not their heart. The instant you realize this, you stop overvaluing their whispers and start prioritizing their footsteps. You stop interpreting a return as proof of your worth and start reading it as raw data. Every message, every call becomes evidence of intention. And in the architecture of real connection, intention is the only material that lasts. So next time that notification glows from a name you thought was history, resist the primal urge to soothe or secure. Pause, observe, measure, guard your energy. Understand their return isn't about fixing them. It's about discerning if they are now showing up in a manner worthy of your attention. Your choice crafts the future of this link, not their passing curiosity. Remember, the catalyst is always the same: unresolved tension. Your power is in recognizing it, mastering it, and deciding if it becomes a draining cycle or a transformative moment. This knowledge is rare. Wield it wisely. Your emotional sovereignty, your relationships, and your life will never look the same. If this resonated with you, help us spread these unfiltered truths. Hit the like button right now and subscribe to Psych Seeker. We dive deep so you don't have to navigate in the dark.